So we're still on the topic of philosophy, and we're going to go over something real quick. Let me get, let's see. We got our board. I erased most of the stuff from one of the last times, but I left this stuff on there. We're talking about in-the-box thinking, right?
Yes.
And remember, the danger of in-the-box thinking is you're only able to learn or know a certain amount of stuff that they allow you to learn. And they don't want you to learn anything outside of the box. Because why? That's dangerous learning for who? For them. Okay, now here's the part. This is what we're going to go into a little bit more in depth, is why this in-the-box learning is so dangerous, okay, and confusing. If the box, for example, is, let's say, let's say that box is that big, whatever that big is, a mile long, whatever, how big that is. If that's the box and you're supposed to only know and obey and learn what's in the box, can that box, if they decide to make it bigger, can they make the box bigger? Which means let you know more stuff that you're not supposed to know. Can they? They're in charge, remember. They're in charge. So can they let you know more if they really wanted to? Yeah, they could. Can they make the box smaller? Why?
There's piled up stuff inside.
Well, let's do it this way. We're talking about the prison, right? If you're in prison, you also have to obey the rules, follow the rules, do what you're told, and only do what you're allowed to do, right? What if you're in prison and you don't follow the rules and you don't obey? What happens? They'll beat you up first, but then they'll put you in a smaller cell called, yeah. They'll put you in a smaller cell called solitary confinement. So the box will get smaller. They'll say, since you can't obey the rules in the bigger box, we're going to put you in a smaller box. Now shut up, do what you're told, obey the rules. Now what if you're in that solitary confinement and you don't follow the rules? You start throwing stuff around, ripping your sheets up, your bed sheets up, screaming, acting a fool. Can they make the box smaller? If you disobey the rules, they'll put you in a smaller room. Exactly. They'll put you in a room that's padded with rubber. There's no bed. There's no toilet. There's no sink. It's just a room with pillows on the outside. They'll put you, remember the movie we watched a couple days ago with the straitjacket? Where they tied the guy up like this. They chained his arms to his sides in a straitjacket. And then they'll put you in a padded room in a straitjacket, chained up, and they'll chain you to the wall so you can't move. And they'll, again, say, obey the rules, shut up, do what you're told. And the box got smaller again, right? So, can this get smaller? If they decide, hey, these people know too much, let's make this box smaller. Yeah, that's the dangerous part about this. People might get comfortable in this box and say, okay, I'll pay this amount of taxes, I'll work my ass off, I'll do what I'm told, I'll register my car, I'll pay my license fees, I'll do all that stuff, and because I'm comfortable doing it. But the problem is why it's so dangerous. This box can also be made to be much smaller. And that's what we're going to get into here. How do they make the box smaller? Which means now there are even less things you can do. Pay more taxes. Do more of this. No, let's talk about this. That's why it's dangerous. In previous, well, you guys know what you heard. You know what happened 9/11? When they say 9/11, you know what happened, right? So when someone says 9/11, right? That's when the airplanes, we'll talk about that later, crashed into the towers in New York, and the two twin towers came down, and a lot of people died, right? Okay, this happened September 11, hence 9/11, 2001, right?
Okay.
Prior to that date, which means before that date, if you went to the airport,
They shut it down.
you had to go through a metal detector, but you kept your shoes on, you kept your belt on, you even kept, sometimes you kept your money and your keys in your pocket. You just walked through. Also, prior to 9/11, your family can come with you to the plane. So if you were going to go on a trip by yourself, your family, your aunts, your uncles, they can all go with you. You didn't have to show a ticket or an ID to get through security. Security was just very quick. It was just rapid fire. You didn't have to go to the airport 2-3 hours before. You can go 45 minutes, even a half hour before. Just walk through the airport, go through security, bring your whole family to the gate, and your whole family can sit and wait for you at the gate. And then when your plane was ready to go, you do your hugs and kisses there at the airplane. Your family would, whoever's leaving on the plane would go. Everybody else would go back and leave. After 9/11, George Bush enacted the Patriot Act, which all of a sudden made this box go way smaller. Now you got to take your belt off, your shoes off. Some people got to go in another room and get strip searched. They got to do an X-ray machine to see what you look like without your clothes. They can tap your phones whenever they feel like it to see if you're talking to somebody you're not supposed to be talking to. So prior to this, the box was a certain size. After 9/11, 2001, the box got much smaller. Yeah. So that's just one example. I'm not going to say this word out loud because YouTube's not going to like it. But there was just a scamdemic, right? A couple years ago. What they were, remember what happened was, remember when it happened, and we even fell for it for a little while. But remember, when it happened, the box was a certain size. Right after, all of a sudden, you have to stay 6 feet apart from everybody. You have to wear a mask all day long in front of people, even in your house. You can't have gatherings in your house of more than 3 people. Remember how we went to the restaurant to eat? Restaurant, there's 5 of us. They would say we have to sit at different tables because there's 5 of us. You can only sit in parties of 3 or 4. Remember how they used to tell us? You got to wear your mask until your food comes. And you have to get medicines put in your arm. And then all of a sudden you had to get medicines put in your arm every month. And all that mess was supposed to happen. That was supposed to be for life. It ended. Why did you think it ended? But that was supposed to be for life. We were supposed to be still doing that now, 6 feet apart, no social gatherings, no getting together. Why do you think they would not want us to get together with our friends?
So that you
So they can isolate.
Isolate us. Well, what's the purpose of isolating? Well, I'd sell this out there too. You got a person who is talking too much, get him out. Don't let him talk to everybody. Got a person talking too much, saying too much, get him out of there before everyone acts like that. So they made people in smaller groups because they didn't want certain people who knew too much to talk to people who didn't know. But what happened was this whole thing fell apart because people woke up way faster than they thought they were going to. And all this, especially when the riots happened after someone got a knee on their neck, the Floyd riots. Remember that? Remember how when the riots happened after the Floyd thing? Well, remember we went to the park afterwards, a couple days later, and we saw those riots. And in the riots on TV, nobody was wearing a mask. Remember how they were arresting people on the beach who weren't wearing masks? They were arresting people who were going to their family's house for Thanksgiving. Oh, there's 4 people, 5 people in this house. You're celebrating Thanksgiving. They would kick the door open and arrest you. They're arresting people that were going to church because they said, we told you not to gather in groups of people more than 4 or more. They're arresting people. But then the Floyd riot happened, and all those people were rioting on the streets, burning cars, beating up people, killing people, burning stores down, and no one was wearing masks. And then they had the Floyd funerals. They had 3 funerals for him. And in the church, you saw on TV, people lined seat to seat. No one's 6 feet apart. They were lined, sitting seat, packed in a church. No one's wearing masks. And a lot of people like us looked at the TV and said, whoa, 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 what's going on? We can't go to the park and have fun in the park with people without a mask. And these people are sitting in church and rioting and burning cities down. No one's wearing a mask. That's when we woke up and said, something's wrong. And that's when a lot of other people woke up and said, no, I'm not going to be in this little box. Screw that. And the whole thing fell apart. And that's why we're not doing it today. That's why we're not wearing the masks 6 feet apart and getting these things in our arm today, because a bunch of us woke up. So that's the danger about in the box thinking. One more example. Oh, also remember too, with the code, remember with the scamdemic thing? Remember how they wanted us to go to school too? Remember how we did school for a while? You each had to be on a different computer and go on Zoom calls to watch the teachers, and it was worthless because there was always 1 or 2 kids in there asking questions, the same question over and over. I understand, what's 4 plus 4? I don't get it. Explain it to me, right?
Go back to the previous slide. You're moving too fast.
Right? So that's, stay in the box. The box got smaller. And again, imagine what life would be like if we were still in that. How little you would know and how little you would learn and how little you would understand. Okay, here's another thing. I think, right?
People were so slow.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but a few years ago, we talked about this briefly, but you guys might not remember it. Remember this thing that you guys use, we all use?
Freedom? Oh, shoot. Dyslexia.
Facebook, right? What was Facebook trying to change the name to? And they kind of did, but it didn't really set.
Meta?
Yeah,
Oh,
Meta.
I got it from my dad.
They were trying to change the name of Facebook to Meta, and they tried like crazy, but it really didn't stick. What? And we might have talked about this before. What was Meta supposed to be? Virtual reality. You do remember?
Yeah.
Remember, Meta was supposed to be where
Wasn't it simple for Meta like this with the virtual reality goggles?
something like that.
It was like
There's a bunch of lines.
Right. But what Meta was supposed to be, we talked about this before, Meta was supposed to be where you would go online, Facebook or whatever, or on Meta, and you would talk to your friends like you already are doing, and there was no need to get together because you can go and talk to your friends online. And then they were going to eventually, they started coming up with these virtual goggles, right? Remember that? The virtual goggles. And you were going to be able to interact on Meta through the goggles. And the ultimate goal at first was, okay, you can wear the goggles, talk to but you can talk to your friends on there. You could also go to clubs, like dance clubs on there, game rooms with the virtual, and all these things. You were basically, you were able to go to certain places with your friends through virtual reality and hang out with them. You could talk to them, listen to music together, hang out together, and interact with them through the goggles. Remember that? Meta was also supposed to be where you wouldn't even have to go shopping. You can go to Amazon or Walmart through the goggles, walk around. I want that, I want this, I want this, I want that. Make your cart, pay for it, and the stuff would come to your house. No need to go out of your house and go shopping.
What?
They were also, remember, through the scamdemic and through the Meta, they were also trying to make it where you didn't even have to go to work. You could stay home with the goggles on, do your computer work at home, and not even stay home. Now,
What?
that was one of them. Remember, there's a lot of people still today that don't go to work anymore. They do all the work from home. Supposedly, a lot of them don't do any work from home. They just get the paycheck. But that was the goal. Well, that was the goal, though, to wear the goggles. Don't just stay on your couch. No need to leave the house. You can do all your shopping, hanging out with your friends, sports. You can watch football games, baseball games. You can even play sports. You can go shopping, and you can even go do work all from home, from the goggles. No need to get off of your chair and do anything. Just sit there and do your. Now, what's the danger of all that?
Fat, lazy, and
Remember the movie The Matrix
Matrix.
we saw? What happened in The Matrix?
Alien baby.
No, remember? All they did was lay in a pod, and their whole world was virtual reality. They went to work, went to the movies, went on dates, hung out with their friends, did everything in a virtual reality world that felt real, but they were laying in a pod the whole time that it was happening. It was in their mind. The whole living was in their mind. That's the danger of living in the box. The box can get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you're in a matrix pod, living your life through virtual reality, not even aware that someone above you is feeding off of the energy that you're producing by your work. You get it? That's the danger of in the box thinking.
Aren't virtual reality headsets like $500?
Oh, they're cheap,
Are they
$50. And probably the really good ones. The really good ones.
I remember them being
But-
like 200 back then. I thought they'd be
But
more.
imagine that. What if they were $500? What if they were $1,000?
What the?
If they wanted you, but pay attention for 1 second. If they wanted you to get in the small, tiny little box or pod, would you think they would make them expensive? Or would they say, hey, we're going to give them to you for free, as long as you shop and go to the club and hang out with your friends and use it. We're going to make it free. Why not? Anything to entice you to get. Remember what they did when they were telling us to get all these things? Hey, we'll give you a free hamburger. You go to McDonald's, we'll give you a free meal. We'll give you free donuts. We'll let you go to the club and we'll give you free beer. Like anything. We'll give you a month free of Netflix. They're doing anything to get you to get this. Why? They had something nefarious in mind. Ultimately, remember this. Ultimately, these triangle people are not really out for money. They'll take all the money they can get, but they're not out for money. What are they out for? No, but power and control. If they have all the power and control, if they control everybody and have all the power, then the world is theirs. They can do anything they want. Everybody will do all their work for them. Okay, so that's the danger. Now, the reason we're going through all of this, come here, give me the movie for a second. The reason we're going through all of this is because we're going to watch a movie. I'm going to put this on the camera. We're going to watch this movie. Okay. We're still going to talk a little bit longer, but this is a true story. I remember I was a kid when this happened. It's a story about Jim Jones. He had it was called a cult or church.
The country of Guyana.
It's from Guyana, yeah. It's in the country of Guyana. He had a church in Guyana, and he had total control of the church and the people in it, where he can make them do whatever he wanted to do. Okay? This happened in 1978. I was a kid when it happened. I remember it I watched it on the news. It was horrible. I even bought, when the Time magazine came out with an article about it, and I bought the magazine and I saved it for a while. Somehow we lost it in the last couple of years. But it was a true story, okay? We're going to watch the movie in a little while, but we're going to talk about it first. Okay, now, we went over this so far. Now, this is to show you how the box can get smaller. But a lot of people will say, you know, that's in the past. You know, all this stuff's in the past. They can't do that to me anymore. They can't. I'm too aware. They can't take away anything from me anymore because I'm aware. I want to show you something, just how slowly something happens. They have all, but right, we talked about it before. You just said 2,000 years. They have all the time in the world. They'll do it so slowly that you don't feel it. Here's an example. I'll give a couple examples. Here's one example. There was an airplane years ago called the Concorde. It was an airplane that flew from New York to France, and it can do that flight where a normal flight, a regular flight, takes them about 7, 8 hours. The Concorde can do it in like an hour and a half or something, because it flew like a fighter jet, faster than the speed of sound.
And it was uncomfortable?
No, it was one of the most comfortable planes, and it got there fast, and people they didn't waste time on a plane, they can get there. That was flying for all the time since I was a kid, from the I don't believe that, I don't know if from the 60s, but definitely from the 70s, 80s, that flight was very popular. It was expensive, but if you could afford it, you can get on the plane and bam, you were in France.
Get on the plane.
That plane doesn't exist anymore.
Why?
No, there was a lot of them. There wasn't just one plane. I think it was about 15 years ago, the Triangle people, they just canceled the project. They bought Air France, supposedly, or whoever owned the airline, and said, we're going to banish the project. We're canceling the project. Nobody complained. No, you can't do that anymore. There is no Concorde anymore. It's gone. And you guys in the new generation right now will not experience that Concorde because they abolished the project. So that's just one example.
What they do with the weapons?
They probably sold them, destroyed them,
Hold on.
put them in an airplane graveyard.
Sold them?
Remember how we talked about before, like the Hindenburg and the dirigibles? Remember? Why aren't there dirigibles right now? They took them away. They took them away. Here's an example you could relate to. When I was a kid,
Yes.
if you wanted to listen to music, you have to go to the store and buy your record.
Yes.
And later, records became cassette tapes. And later, they became 8-track tapes. And then later, they became CDs. What is music now today? Spotify, iTunes. It's digital. Do you have anything? Now, we buy CDs because we're into K-pop music, so we buy CDs just for fun. But most music today is digital. So do you have a hard copy of it?
No.
No.
But there's.
You can't.
You can, but you don't. Here's another example before you get in.
Yeah, but you.
But you can see how it's slowly fading away. Now it's digital. On your it's technical, you have a copy, but it's in digital.
Yeah.
Right. Back when I was a kid, if you wanted pictures of your friends, you'd have to buy a camera, take a picture. Or if you wanted a movie, a video, you couldn't do it on your phone. You have to go buy a film, get a projector, get a reel-to-reel projector, make a movie of it, put it on VHS recording, but you had a hard copy of it. And back when I was a kid too, a lot of times families would get together around the projector and they would shine on the screen old movies of when the kids were babies walking around, and it was usually no sound, but it was silent, but you can watch movies, but you had a hard copy of it, right? But today, how do you get your movies and your videos?
Online. Netflix.
On our cell phone.
Netflix.
Many of us don't have hard copies of all the photos. We have maybe hard copies of a couple, but we don't have hard copies of all the photos. It's become digital. Now that's just, maybe we're not at the end of it yet. Maybe another 10, 20 years, everything is digital. There is no hard copies. Then what can happen? Someone can shut it off. Shut it off. Spotify, iTunes, gone. Shut off. Music is gone then. Music is gone. Videos are gone. Movies are gone. Your photos are gone. Your memories are gone. Pictures are gone. Memories when you were kids are all gone. They just turn it off. And then you'll have a generation after that, another 10, 20, 40, 30, 40 years after that, you'll have a generation that doesn't know what taking a picture of your friends is. See how it happens so slowly that little by little you get used to it. Okay, this is better. Okay, this is better. Okay, this is better. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's gone. And then what are we going to do? What are we going to do? One generation. It only takes one generation. It only takes one generation to erase history. So if they get rid of the photos in your lifetime, your kids will never grow up with photos. That generation will learn there's no such thing as that. Same way you guys don't really know what records are and albums are and reel to reel, but never experienced it, right? But you see how it can be, but you see how it can be taken away, right? Now we just said, if they decided to, they can just turn it off. What if they turned it off and said, hey, do you want access to it again? Like right even now, you can feel it kind of now. Yeah. You want access to your own photos. What's the cloud? It's a subscription. Subscription what? To have access to your own photos. So I should keep this up here because it's important. By these people, by making the box smaller and smaller, now have access and control over our memories. And if you want access to it, you have to pay for it. And the more they take away, but what if they decide to take that away? Like the Concorde, what if they decide, you know what? From now on, we're not going to put any memory in the phone. It's all the cloud. That's the next step, to remove it. It's all in the cloud. Everything, your music, your videos, your pictures, everything is in the cloud. And no access to the phone. You want it, you got to pay for the subscription. Then what can happen? Can the box get smaller? Why? How? The subscription can get, the price can get higher and higher and higher until you can't even afford it. Now the cloud is what? $10 a month? $5 a month? What if all of a sudden it's $100 a month? What if it's $1,000 a month? What if they make it $10,000 a month? If they decide, yeah. But what's the purpose of that? The purpose is not to get money. The purpose is to get power. Take away from you, keep from them, make the box smaller, and eventually it'll get so expensive you'll say, I'm going to have to do without it. And then they take it away, and then they just eliminate it. It's gone. No. And then all of a sudden laws will come out to say, you're not allowed to take photos of each other. You're not allowed to take pictures. You're not allowed to make images. Remember that movie we watched, Stargate? Where to control the people, they made it illegal to make images of writing, of words, of pictures. And if you did, they would, I don't know what they would do with you, but they made it illegal to have images of anything. Because knowing anything out of the box is dangerous for them. Okay? So that's how it happens slowly. Okay. Remember, here, let's talk about this 1 second. Remember how when we started this year, Mamamba. Remember when we started this year, there's also, I told you always, ask the 3 questions. What are the 3 questions? Yeah. Does that make sense? Is that possible? What if that's true? Ask the questions. Remember when the scamdemic happened?
Scamdemic.
How did we wake up?
I don't remember.
We asked the questions. If you refuse to ask questions, we know people like that who wore the masks. Some people who wear the masks still today. Because they just like, I refuse. I'm just going to do what I'm told. I'm going to go through life and obey, and just do what I told. Stay in the box because yeah. Because they never, ever ask the important questions. Does this make sense? Look, the Floyd people are in the church, packed like sardines, no masks, talking to each other, singing, laughing, screaming, and we can't gather in groups of 4 or more, even if we're in the house with our own family. Does that make sense? Is it possible that this whole thing is a scam? What if this scam is true? By asking the questions, you're able to find out the truth. That's philosophy. If you don't ask the questions, what happens? What happens if you don't ask a question? You don't know the answer. Correct? Got a lot of time.
Yeah.
Okay. When I'm going over all this stuff again, it's not to scare you guys, right? And when we watch the movie's not to scare you guys. Like I told you before, I watched this movie when I was a kid. And I thought, when I watched it as a kid, I thought this was the most horrible thing. But I also knew the story. I saw,
good.
as a story, like, oh my God, what a horrible people.
Horrible plot.
Yeah, horrible. But I knew the story before the movie came out. I think the movie came out like 5 or 6 years after it really happened. But I knew the story because it was on the news. It was big on the news. They were talking about this thing. And when it happened, it was very upsetting, very scary. And they showed the pictures of it. They showed the pictures on the news. There's a lot of people laying around dead.
What?
And I was like, this is scary. And they tried to explain it. But when I saw the movie, even as a kid, it hit me. I knew what was going on. They were being tricked. Somebody was trying to put them in a very small box. Huh?
That's an
Okay.
actual scene.
I knew that as a kid that something was wrong. Okay. So that's not to scare you. It's to make you aware. Just remember this whole topic, though it's confusing. Why we keep talking about this? It's philosophy. We're learning to ask the big questions. What is this really about? What's really going on? Because if you don't know what's really going on, you're going to be easily tricked. Okay? Now here, let's talk about this. This is something you and me talked about a couple of days ago, Alex, and I was having a hard time explaining to you. But if you are a company that makes medicine, how do you make your money?
By just saying you're a doctor.
No. If you're a company that makes medicine, how do you make money? What are you selling?
Flavored water.
No. What are you selling?
Medicine.
So how do you make money?
Some medicine?
How much medicine? A lot of medicine. So if you're a medicine company, you make money
You put your money.
by selling a lot of medicine.
Whoa.
And the medicine companies do make a lot of money, trillions of dollars, not just billions anymore. They make trillions of dollars because they sell a lot of medicine. So if you're a medicine company
Yeah, but still.
and you need to hire scientists,
If you have to hire scientists.
or researchers, so you need to hire researchers. Do you want to, you guys paying attention? You want to hire scientists or researchers. Do you want the scientists or researchers to prove your medicine works
Yes.
or doesn't work?
Works.
So what do? You tell the researchers, we are going to pay a lot of money. Let's say, for example, we'll pay $10 million.
I have $2.
$10 million to who? The scientist or researcher that what? That proves our medicine doesn't work? Or, hey, we'll give you $10 million and go ahead. We'll do an honest assessment. If our stuff doesn't work, we'll still pay you the money. Do you think that really happens?
No.
What if two scientists come along? One scientist says it works. Not only works, it works like crazy. The medicine is great.
Crazy.
This guy goes, this medicine doesn't work at all.
May cause
And causes
nausea or vomiting.
causes death.
Slight of weight. What the heck is that even?
Who is this company going to pay?
The person who says it works.
Do they care if he's telling the truth?
No.
Do they care if he's honest?
No.
Why?
Because he said it works.
Because they want to make more money.
Because they want to make more money. They're going to pay this guy, regardless if he's lying, faking it, a scumbag, a triangle person, NPC, a useful idiot. As long as he's saying it works, they'll pay this guy so that they can make billions
Trillions.
and even trillions on that medication. This guy, you don't get nothing. Matter of fact, we're going to say you're not a real scientist. We're going to call our friends in Congress. We're going to have your licenses pulled. We're going to have your grants pulled from your schools. We're going to have you fired. And if you keep talking, what are we gonna do? We'll have our friends in the gangs come and beat your family up and kill you.
Okay.
So this is the problem. The problem with confined thinking is you don't necessarily get the truth. Science, remember how we talked about before a couple days ago that science and research and the news and politicians can be easily manipulated by what? By money. And that's no way to get the truth. If you can be manipulated by money, you can get a lie by money that doesn't necessarily means the truth. And then the lie will benefit the ones in charge, and the ones who will suffer is everybody else. Okay. Let's see. Here's another example. Here's another example. This is the hospitals during the scamdemic, okay? Remember when you'd go to the hospital during the scamdemic? What would the first thing they would do?
I don't know. Ask if you have your thing.
What if you went there for a broken arm, or you got in a car accident, you fell off your motorcycle, you fell off a ladder? What's the first thing the doctors want to do when I take you in to get an exam for volleyball? Did you get your jabby jabs? Like, no. We're here to get a volleyball exam to make sure we're healthy enough to play volleyball. Oh, you got to get your jabby jabs. You got to get some medicine in your arm. For what? I'm playing volleyball. Remember? But the first thing, if you went to the hospital during the scamdemic and you fell off your motorcycle, you got shot, someone stabbed you, the first thing they wanted to do is give you meds.
My arm is gone.
I'm gonna throw a microwave honey butter.
Wait, pay attention, guys. Why did they do that? I got shot, man. Why is the first thing you want to do give me a jabby jab? Money. Now, how would they get money? Whoever is paying the hospital, and it's probably the insurance company. Important to know, the insurance company are triangle people being paid by somebody else. If somebody tells them to do something, they tell the hospital to do something. We're not paying you if you treat bullet wounds, gun stabbings, broken arms. We'll pay you if you give these, and then if you put the person on an incubator.
Incubator. Ew. Incubator.
Or what was it called when they would intubate?
What's an intubator?
Well, you have to. The insurance companies were someone was telling them to do something. They were telling the hospital to do something. They didn't pay for what you came in for. They paid for the jabby jabs, and then if you got worse than that, all of a sudden you couldn't breathe. They put you ventilator. I'm sorry.
Intubator.
They're all the same. They help you breathe. But they would put you on they would give you the medicine. And if you got worse, they would pay the hospital. They would pay the hospital more. You would get worse. The hospital, they would say, that's fine. We'll pay for that. They would get worse. And then all of a sudden this medicine came out like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine.
Oh no, that's illegal in the U.S.
And they would say, and some doctors would say, hey, this stuff cures this. What happened? These guys said no. we're going to ban this, even though they've been around for 100 years. We're going to ban that. You can't use that, even though it only costs like 50 cents per pill. It was cheap as hell.
Cheap as free.
That you have to do this. They would get worse. You have to give a medicine.
Wow.
Remdesivir. I don't know how it's spelled. Remdesivir.
Yes.
And that medicine, almost 50% of the people died in the first dose. The other 50% died in the second dose.
That sucks.
This caused death. But what happened was, these guys approved it. These guys paid for it.
Wow.
The hospital did it.
Wow. Wow.
The good doctors said, I can't do this anymore, and they left. They said, screw you, I can't do this. The good doctors left. The bad doctors, again, a minute ago we talked about, will researchers or scientists become non-player characters or
Owie.
bad people, useful idiots? Will they become useful idiots if they're getting paid a lot of money to be that? Sure. Bad people, scientists, researchers who want to join the bad people club and become rich will do bad things for money. They will ignore the good things for money. Good people won't. They'll leave. Bad people will continue to do it. In the hospitals, you think it's possible there are bad doctors? Possible there's evil doctors. Possible there's triangle doctors. Yeah, of course. And I discovered that a long time ago too when I was a kid. Right after college, my mom and dad made me pay for my own medical bills. When I went to a doctor, when I was sick, I would ask questions. Even though like 19, 20, I asked questions. And when the doctor, even at 19, I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. One time I went to the doctor. I was right after, I was like, I think I was 22 or something. I went to the doctor. I couldn't breathe. I was sick for 6 months. And it was getting worse and worse because it was all in my chest. It was in my head. It was my nose. I could not breathe. I felt like I was drowning. And it got to the point where I was coughing, and I would cough, and it would be blood. It was bloody, foamy blood. And I went to a doctor close by my house. It was an Indian guy. And I said, and I asked him, I said, he said, do you have any insurance? I said, no, I don't have insurance. I'm a kid. I'll pay for it myself. I got money. I think I called in advance with like $100 for an exam. I said, I'll pay for it. Just I don't feel good. It's been 6 months. I'm coughing up blood. And the first thing he says, you got a cold. I'm like, no, I don't have a cold. I've had this for 6 months. I can't breathe. He didn't even, no stethoscope, no examination. I got a cold. No, I don't have a cold. I couldn't breathe. And he insisted, you got a cold. What are you going to do? I'll give you some antibiotics. I said, no. I was like, do you understand? I was like 22 years old. I was just a young person. I was just finishing college. And this doctor is looking at me, insisting I had a cold. And I knew he was full of crap. Needless to say, that's when I discovered chiropractic. I went to a chiropractor afterwards, found out that I had a bad infection. I had hepatitis. I had infection. I had a case of mono, so it got into my liver, and it wasn't allowing me to be sick. And they did something to me to adjust my neck, and my nervous system turned on. And that day I was sick as a dog. He told me to drink a lot of water. I went home. I was so sick. I thought he killed me. The next morning I woke up. It was gone. 100% gone. A 6-month-old cold. The next day was gone. I felt great. My liver still hurt for about 6 months, but I could breathe. And the coughing, the blood was gone.
You've got a cold.
This guy wasn't going to treat me the way I wanted to be treated because he wasn't going to get paid the way he wanted. He wanted my insurance so he could do something else. And when I said I didn't have insurance,
You've got a cold.
he couldn't. I got a cold. You got the cold? Yeah. Since I didn't have insurance, you got a cold. Now, not all doctors do that. There are a lot of doctors, especially over here. Not all doctors. There are doctors that are triangle people. There are doctors that are non-player characters. There are doctors that are, what's the other word we use for them? Non-player characters. There's doctors that are useful idiots that will do whatever they're told for the money.
The money.
Their attitude is, I don't care if I hurt somebody or keep them sick. I'm going to get paid. Dentists are big for this. Dentists, there's a lot of dentists who will drill perfectly healthy teeth. Root canal, perfectly healthy teeth, because that's how they make their Mercedes payments. I used to know dentists in Hawaii who would say that exact thing. They would say, I have to drill totally healthy teeth to make my Mercedes payments. They would tell me that. Doctors will tell other doctors they're scams, and they would tell me that right in my face. And I would tell them, I can't do that. They would say, well, that's why I have a Mercedes and you don't. But,
Yeah, that's why you're gonna get arrested.
but what's my point? Money will lead people to do bad things. Okay. Okay.
Like,
Anything that's not a Mercedes.
Okay. Okay, not to beat a dead horse, but let's keep going. I'm kind of. What that means is, if the horse is dead, you don't want to keep hitting it and killing it. But I want you guys. Remember, part of this reason we're doing this is because not only I want you guys to know, but if somebody asks you or says something stupid to you, I want you to go, that doesn't make any sense. I know better. And then you're able to explain to them the truth. What's this? You ever heard this expression? Digital money. What's digital money? Not necessarily. What's non-digital money? Oh, I got the wrong answer. It's bills, gold, silver, bills, dollar bills. That's money. Where if you want to go buy something, you go to the store and say, here, I'll buy it. Digital, and then credit card is digital. You're going off tangent.
yeah, get out.
I went to the store yesterday. Now I went to the store. As time goes on, as you know, the older generation can see what the younger generation doesn't see. I went to the store yesterday to buy something. I used my credit card. Right? No cash. I used the credit card. That's digital money.
Yes.
The guy next to me took out his phone, had a picture of his credit card, touched the screen, paid for it with a digital picture of his credit card. That's digital money.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to see your money in front of you and count it and know you have it?
No.
What? You have to trust that it's there. You can go to your bank account online and say, okay, I see my money there. My money's there. I can see it there. That's digital money. Now, what is the dangers of digital money?
It's not really real.
Here it is. It's not really real. It's not really real. And we're going to get to your point in a second too. You're right. But it's the danger of it is you can't see it.
I can't see it.
You can't see it. What else? You can't see it. You can't hold it. You can't control it. No control. And you can see again, like remember I talked about a minute ago, how they're trying to take away your photos, your movies, your music. It's all digital. They want your money to be digital. Why? You see how it's happening slowly. First it's money, then it's credit cards, then it's digital, then it's no digital, then it's no credit cards, then what? What's happening? We are getting into a smaller box.
There's like technology in China or something where you can pay with your phone.
They're trying to inject you with a chip. That's what they do. They inject you with a chip so you can pay with your palm or they just know you.
What in the force?
Now, what's the danger of this?
Yeah, just this for me.
And you can even see it with like with Zelle and Venmo and those kind of things in PayPal. It's all in the trust of somebody else. Who are those people who control the money?
Me. I'm in control of the money.
The triangle people, right? They're in control. So what ends up happening is once they get rid of money all in general, once there's no more gold, there's no more silver, there's no more bills, and it's all digital, They can turn it off whenever they feel like it. They can just shut it off. Or what can they do?
I don't.
What happens right now? What happens right now if say for example you have 100,000 in the bank?
Holy.
That's a lot of money.
Holy, dude.
And they say this guy has too much money. What can they do? How do they take it away?
I have no clue.
Getting rid of the numbers.
They can either just make a number vanish, or they can say, we have a new tax that's, here's an example.
You can put your money in the
In
bank.
California recently, you've heard about all the fires in California where almost all of Malibu burnt
I
down?
think so.
It was a couple months ago. Huge fire in California that in Los Angeles that burnt down expensive houses. The mayor in Los Angeles just sent a letter to everybody who had their house burnt down, and they said, we're going to start rebuilding, and we need to install new fire hydrants before you're allowed to put houses up.
What?
So we got to put the fire hydrants first, and in order to put the fire hydrants up first, we're going to tax every citizen that lives in Los Angeles $900 each for the fire hydrants. They're probably not that expensive, but what can they do? Make up any bullcrap tax they want.
We're running low on pencils.
Fire tax. We need you to pay a $10,000 fire tax.
We're running low on.
Matter of fact, why don't you pay two $10,000 fire taxes? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Trees are going extinct.
Prior to this, what if they come now and say,
Right now.
what if someone comes to the house right now and says, hey, we want to put a new fire hydrant in front of your house, we need to pay $1,000. What would I say?
You would pull out your gun.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would say, kiss my big ass. I'd say, not going to pay you. It's not in the bank. You can't take it. It's in my pocket. I'm not going to give it to you.
I'll build it myself.
But you can refuse. If it's all digital, what are you going to, you guys paying attention?
Yes.
If it's all digital, can you refuse?
Oh, digital? No, you can't.
If it's all digital, you can't refuse. They'll just take it. What if they decided, we caught you on camera speeding, that's $1,000.
Bro.
Hey, I wasn't speeding, make that $2,000. I wasn't speeding, make that $8,000. What are they trying to tell you? Get in the box, shut your mouth, do what you're told.
Okay. Oh, wait, no, it's on my phone.
Just don't pay it, right? How can you just not pay it? It's all digital. If they feel like it, they'll take it whenever they feel like it. How about if they just come up with you have too much money tax. You have too much. What if they decide no one's allowed to have more than $10,000 anymore?
What?
So we taxed you, we took the rest away. My point is if they get you in a little tiny box and they're in charge and everything is digital, you can't do nothing about it. What are you going to do? Go down to their big building with armed guards and say, give me my money back?
Yes. And then you get shot.
Then you're going to go right in the jail. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why we ask questions. Does that make sense? Is it possible that this is a scam? What's going to happen? What if it's true that they can all those questions? That's why I don't trust banks too.
If I ever need to buy something online, I'll
People in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, people did not trust the banks. Why? In the Great Depression, all the banks stole all the money. All the money you had in the banks took it all.
Oh, I thought all the banks collapsed.
They all collapsed, but they stole it. They kept it, sent it to their friends in the Triangle people place, but all the money was gone. So from that point on, nobody trusted the banks. Now people are starting to trust the banks again, and they're going to do it again. They'll just take it all whenever they feel like it.
People are a little sick in their head.
Okay.
What's happening in
That's the problem. Exactly, Alex. The problem with people is we don't learn from the history of the mistakes. You have to learn from history. If you don't understand, that's why we're studying history. That's why I don't want you guys to learn fake history, because then you don't learn the mistakes of the past. You need to learn real history so you can understand what really, that's why we're going to watch this movie. But if you can understand real history, you can learn from the facts and avoid the future pitfalls that they're trying to do. Okay?
Future pitfalls. Oh, it's written in blood.
Okay. All right. So now we're on to the movie. Good. Now we're on to the movie. So now, before we're going to watch this movie, let me tell you what the movie's about. Okay. Did you guys ever hear of the expression, don't drink the Kool-Aid?
What? No.
You might not. There's an expression, if you'll hear something, someone will say to you, hey man, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't scratch it, man. Well, what the expression is don't drink the Kool-Aid comes from this movie. It means don't do what you're told. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. There's another expression, and that expression came from this movie. You'll see why in a second. You'll see why in a second. But another expression came from this movie relating to Kool-Aid is, oh my God, I could see you drank the Kool-Aid, which means you bought everything. You are in the box big time. I can see you drank the Kool-Aid, which means you believe everything you've been told.
You believe everything you've been heard.
See what I'm saying? That's where these two expressions come from, the movie. You're going to understand in a little while. What this movie is this guy, wait, pay attention. The movie is this guy who is a Reverend Jim Jones. Set up a cult, which is his own church, believing that he was trying to tell his believers that we are the chosen people. I think it was like 600 or 700 people.
600 still.
That we are the chosen people, and God is coming to take us, and we're going to go to heaven, and it's going to be soon. He kept saying, and we have to be ready for when God is coming to take us.
So this guy's a bad guy?
He's a bad guy. But he was saying God's coming to take us, and we're going to go to heaven. And when I will get a message from God, he says, because he kept saying, God talks to me, and God will give me a message that he's here. And when he says he's here, we're only going to have minutes to go with him to heaven. So what we're going to have to do is when he gives us the word, we're going to pass out little cups of Kool-Aid. We're all going to drink the Kool-Aid at the same time. The Kool-Aid is going to have cyanide in it. We are all going to kill our body so that our soul can go into heaven together with when God comes for us.
Boy.
And he got them all 600-700 people to believe it. You'll see in the movie, he did it slowly. He didn't just say that all of a sudden. He got them slowly to believe little things, until he got that. Well, once they all believed that, in the end, he said, God is here. He's coming to get us. They all drank the Kool-Aid. They all died. And in the end, you'll see in the movie, I don't want to give spoilers, but it's important. In the movies, you're going to see he didn't drink the Kool-Aid. A military helicopter came, picked him up, and took him away. He was a CIA agent. They were doing an experiment to see what they had to do to get a large group of people to kill themselves. And we'll talk about why that was important. This was the 1970s. They did this as an experiment to see what we can do to get a group of people to kill themselves. Why? They wanted to figure out on a global level, how do we get a huge group of people to kill themselves? Scamdemic. What did they do when the scamdemic happened? Scare people enough to make them go get the jabby jabs. So what are they doing? So we're going to watch the movie. We're going to watch the movie and you're going to see. But I knew back then when it happened what was going on. And then I forgot about the movie until the thing happened. This happened. The scamdemic happened. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, I remember that movie from the 70s. That's why I had to search it out. I remember the movie from the 70s about that CIA experiment That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to figure out what they had to do to convince a huge group of people to kill themselves.
UN.
Okay?
Don't tell me that
They cut
they're
out.
gonna have them
We just watched the movie, and unfortunately, they cut out at least 35 to 45 minutes of the movie in the end. So somebody is trying to hide something. They don't want to show us. Okay. What happened at the, what we saw. Do you have any questions so far? What we saw? Okay. So the guy somewhere along the line it was a preacher. Somewhere along the line became very corrupt. Was only interested in money and money and money and money and money and money because he wanted to be in a group. He saw people who were preachers who were making a lot of money, and he lost sight of what he wanted to do in the beginning, and just wanted to be part of the club, wanted to be part of them, wanted to make money like everybody, like all the bad guys. Okay, let me show. So what's missing from the movie? Remember in the beginning of the movie where they showed how they were in Guyana, and an alarm went off, and everybody ran to the Kool-Aid to drink it. They called it wine at the beginning. Later on, they found out is the kids didn't want to drink wine. They called it, then became Kool-Aid. So that's where it came Kool-Aid. So they did, because they had a lot of kids, they had to kill a lot of kids too. So they turned it into Kool-Aid. So in the movie that was unedited that I saw back in the 1970s, they did that drill several times, where in the middle of the night an alarm would go off. And the scam was that when you hear the alarm going off, that's when the military or someone's coming to arrest us. And in order to all go to God together, we have to drink the Kool-Aid, die together, and we'll go to God together. Because the devils, which are the government, won't take us. That was the scam he put. And like you saw in the beginning of the movie, the alarm would go off. Everyone was supposed to run into the kitchen. The Kool-Aid was ready, drink it, and it had cyanide in it, and they'd all die. And the ones that resisted were pulled away and beaten up. They weren't shot. And they were shot in the movie because that was to scare them, and it was fake. But what we're at right now, we're supposed to continue. You're supposed to see another drill where the ones that didn't do it, he'd come to them and you're a disappointment to me. You're a disappointment. I thought you believed in our movement, and I thought you were really with us. You're a disappointment to me. And then they would shame them like crazy. And then they would say, either you're not in the group anymore. And they would make them like you were kicking you out of the group. And they would beg to be back in the group. And they'd say, well, you need to go to retraining. So then they would agree to go to retraining, and they would go to a room away from everybody, and they would beat the hell out of them with sticks and beat them up. Are you ready to go back to the group? Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. You ready to drink the Kool-Aid? Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. And then they let them back. And they did that 3 or 4 times until everybody always drank the Kool-Aid. You got it?
Yeah.
Then, like in the beginning, you saw how they said the senators and everybody wanted to come see because they heard something. There's some people had relatives in Guyana that were in the church, and they were worried about them. They wanted to see them. So you saw in the beginning of the movie how they wanted the senators wanted to go there and visit. And what they did is that the senators, towards the end right now, the part that's cut out, the senators did go there on a plane. And he greeted them there. Remember how in the beginning he was sitting in the chair going, I don't want to meet the senators? He got one of those shots again of medicine, of drugs. He met with the senators. They hid away the people that were the ones that wouldn't drink the Kool-Aid and were arguing. And they introduced them and showed them to everybody who was 100% on board. Oh, we love Jim Jones. He's awesome, blah, 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 right? And they showed them how this is where we make our food. This is where we have church. This is where we take care of our kids. This is where we give shots. This is where we give medicine. And they showed everybody, and everyone was like, we're so happy to be here. So the senators and congressmen agreed. There's nothing we can do. They want to be here. So they left. And then they did one final, when everybody, after the 3rd or 4th trial, where retraining and everything happened, and everybody was on board and everybody did it, they had one last alarm went off. At this point, people knew they were going to be tested. So most likely, a lot of them didn't think they were going to die because they drank the Kool-Aid already 4 times. And what happened? They didn't die. It was a trick. They didn't die, right? But on the 4th time, the alarm went off. The Kool-Aid was there. Everyone ran in. The children, parents, grandparents, everybody ran in. Everyone drank the Kool-Aid, including his wife, all his friends, everybody, except him.
I knew it.
All drank the Kool-Aid, and that one had the cyanide in it. And he sat in the chair like he sat in there, like a king, laying back on drugs, waiting for everyone to die. And then everyone died. The sun came up in the morning, and all you just see people just laying everywhere dead because they drank the cyanide, laying everywhere. And then a helicopter lands, and he's still sitting in the chair, like drugged out. The chair lands, and they're like, Mr. Jones, they're yelling to him. And it was guys in dark glasses and black suits, CIA-looking guys. You need to come with us. He looks around, and they show the camera panning around at all the dead people. And that's the picture you saw in the front of Time magazine, just people laying off of tables, off their chairs, just dead all over the place. But you see him panning around, looking at all the dead people. Puts his hat on, his glasses back on, he gets on the helicopter, and they take off. That's when I realized it was all a trick. It was to see what they had to do to convince, I think it was, I forgot what the box said, 660, it was almost 700 people, convinced them to kill themselves by drinking the Kool-Aid. That's why we get the expression, don't drink the Kool-Aid. No matter what you do, don't drink the Kool-Aid.